All right, you guys, welcome to another Tuesday training. We do this every Tuesday or most every Tuesday. And what we cover is ways to get ahead inside the industry, ways to develop yourself on a personal and professional development, and then also ways to beat your external and internal competition within this industry and outside. We've got some really good training today. Before we get into that, I always like to review what we did last week. Last week we did not have an official meeting. We had like a open kind of come and go meeting, but that was off the backs of the 4Cs training that we had done over the last several weeks. That 4Cs training is extremely important. It's your equation, everything you need to know from lead generation to revenue. It's contacts, communication, calendar, and contracts. You master that, you learn it first, implement it, master it, then teach it to other people. Watch what starts happening inside your agency, not only for your own personal production, but for your other agents as well. And as your other agents are reaching success, you've got overrides, spreads, bonuses, equity that goes along with that. So today we're going to get into something new, but it's really not too different than what we've been talking about. What we want to talk about today is not doing something that most every agent does in this industry, which they blend in and they become just part of like a blob in the industry of everybody doing the same thing. So what we want to do today, what we want to talk about is how to position yourself, how to communicate your value, and how to become memorable. When people are doing business, they do business with people that are top of the mind, people that stay in front of them, people that are memorable. So if you look like every other agent, if you sound like every other agent, and you talk about the same products every other agent talks about, people have absolutely no reason to remember you. Now, we have some advantages with our acquisition story, with some of our proprietary products, but the real objective isn't to become louder. You guys heard the phrase, the loudest people in the room are usually the weakest. It's not to become the louder or the loudest person. It's to become clearer, more relevant, and ultimately more memorable when people are ready to do business. So this is about clarity, relevance, differentiation, value, and memorability. So when you are looking at this, when you're trying not to blend in, what does that really mean? Well, you need to A, stand for something, B, say it in a way that connects, C, build relationships that actually last, and D, leave a lasting impression. If you can take this, and we're going to show you how it connects to the 4Cs today, it's going to really help you get a head start in getting out of what we call the C of sameness. So inside this industry, what do? I'm a life insurance agent. I help families protect their financial future. I help build retirement, build wealth. I sell IULs, create financial freedom. I specialize in annuities. I help people with tax-free retirement. All that's just blah, 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 blah. And nobody really is going to remember that. So there's not necessarily something that's wrong with these statements. I want to make sure you guys understand that. It's just that they're simply easy to forget. So today's question is, why should someone remember you? And if you start being remembered, what you're going to see is it has a direct impact on your bank account. Your first sale, guys, is not the application, is not any of the products or the services that you're actually offering that creates revenue. Your first sale is actually just the attention that you're looking for. So before someone becomes a client, before someone can become a partner, before someone can schedule an appointment on your calendar, they actually have to notice you. You have to be seen and you have to be heard. This connects directly back to the 4Cs: contacts, communication, calendar, and contracts. Be But communication, guys, doesn't work very well when your message sounds exactly like everybody else. So you need to get noticed. You need to spark the interest of curiosity. Somebody's curious, they're going to want more, right? And you need to have a conversation that creates a connection. And then you have to have an opportunity that actually opens the door to the next action step. You don't need everyone's attention. Grant Cardone says he's okay with half the room hating him, half the room loving him. Don't feel like you need to get everyone's attention. You need the right people or the right person's attention. You need to be seen, be relevant, and be remembered. When you're looking at how to communicate with people, the art of communication, if you can master this, it makes things a lot easier in building your client book of business, building your agency, and becoming the leader and the person that you want to be. You have to stop leading with your job title. Someone asks what you do. Most people in this industry, I'm a life insurance agent, or they go beyond that, try to sound a little bit, different. I specialize in life insurance and retirement planning. That doesn't mean anything to anybody, and you're not doing anything to create curiosity. Agent number three, I teach people how money actually works and show them strategies designed to help them stop giving so much of away unnecessarily. That's the objective, which creates the follow-up question. That's the whole objective, guys. Make them curious, earn the next question. If you get them asking questions, those questions lead to problems that they have. Those problems will allow you to come in at the right point in time with the solution and the action step. Forbes Riley, which is a lady who's really good at teaching how to do these pitches and how to communicate with people on the front end, describes the elevator pitch as your verbal business card. It emphasizes making a memorable first impression while communicating value clearly and concisely. So don't answer everything. You're just trying to earn the next question. Enough questions gives you the information that you need to assert yourself into the conversation, the right point with the right solution and action step. So you can see how once we master this step, guys, that you're just sorting people because positioning changes the conversation. If you're just going to be another agent and looked at as another agent, well, that's exactly what you're going to be looked at if you product position. So when you product position, I sell IULs, that sounds like everybody else, that focuses on a product, that's very easy to forget, and it creates price conversations, transactional conversations. What you want to do is be the opposite. And if we look at the tax savings program that we offer, hey, we offer a tax savings program. Great. Does anybody really care? No, because you haven't done enough on the front side. It sounds too broad and generic, sounds like a promotional statement. It doesn't say who it's for, and it's extremely easy to ignore. What is that saying? Well, okay, so do a lot of people offer tax savings programs. So let's talk about the product position on the IUL agent. Well, a problem position instead of a product position incorporates a lot of what we're talking about today. I help people understand how to potentially keep more of their money working for them instead of constantly giving it to the bank and taxes. It focuses on their problem, creates curiosity and connection. It positions you as the actual guide, somebody that can actually lead them to an answer they're looking for, and it leads to value conversations. Same thing on the tax savings program. If you product position, no one cares. If you market position, it's a little bit different. We work with business owners who have at least 10 or more W-2 employees, help them evaluate strategies designed to improve the economics surrounding their employee benefit structure. So this is the type of stuff. Now, these aren't exact phrases that you may choose to use, but what you're doing is you're positioning yourself away from what 80+% of the industry does, which is product positioning, and you're going to problem and marketing position. And when you do that, it incorporates a lot of what we're teaching today, but it also allows the other side to be interested, remember you, and ask for more information. You're creating that curiosity. Completely different perception, same underlying business, right? It's about how you talk about things. So positioning shifts from the focus from what you sell to the problems that you solve. And we talked about this before. If you go out and you solve a lot of problems, you're going to make a lot of money. And the value you create for the right people will be designed in the front end communication. So this is how you get it done, guys. When you start with them, not you, it becomes extremely easy to get the information you're looking for. Most agents communicate backwards. It's me, 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 I. I sell, I offer, my company, our product, our carrier. That focuses on you. And guess what, guys? I hate to tell you guys, public service announcement, news of flash, no one cares about you. They care about themselves and your ability to solve their problems. So before presenting, consider really, what success is for the listener. What are they concerned about? And how can the idea be relevant and valuable to them? So instead, ask, who am I talking to? What do they care about? What problem might they have? What outcome do they want? And what would actually make them curious enough to ask for more information, take the next action step, commit some of their time to a calendar appointment, all those things that we're looking for in the next action step. So your positioning should live in their world, not yours. Relevant, valuable, memorable, get them results they're looking for. If you focus on them, everything you're looking for will happen. The three questions your positioning must answer. What do you do? What problem do you solve? And why should they care? Who do you help? Hopefully it's not everybody. And if you try to help everybody out, what you're going to find is that You try to be a chameleon and you're trying to blend in with everybody, have all these different conversations. It's extremely hard. Get specific enough to be relevant. What problem do you solve? People aren't searching for your product. They're searching for outcomes. They're searching for ways to alleviate problems, ways to get to goals, ways to put themselves in the driver's seat for a desired financial end outcome with a legitimate path to get there. That's all a lot of these people are looking for. Why should they care? Well, it's because a lot of the things that we talk about, are they looking for financial freedom, protection for their family, confidence about the future, keeping more of what they earn? What changes if the problem gets solved? Because that is a key trigger in getting them to take the next action step. So remember, guys, clarity creates curiosity. Curiosity creates conversations. The right conversations will lead to calendar appointments. Answer these three questions when you're going in, and you'll be remembered. So let's take a small break to understand that you don't have to be the most professional person in the world. And really what we find is if you sound too professional, it comes off-putting. So there's a difference between being professional and sounding corporate. Agents sometimes remove their entire personality because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. Guys, people are going to buy into you before they're buying into what you're actually selling or what you're trying to accomplish. The result is everyone sounds identical, and the professional doesn't, have to be boring. You can be conversational, curious, energetic, funny, direct, educational, story-driven, passionate. We want you to insert your personalities. That's a lot of the trend. So you learn the information first, learn the transitions, and insert your personality into that so that it's yours. And you're not coming off like a robot in this day that we'll talk about where AI can take that sea of sameness and just multiply it over and over and over again, which is exactly what you don't want. People connect with people. This is a relationship building business. This is a people business. So they're going to connect with you before they connect with the company that you represent or the products or the services. Online position. So your profile and what you have online is going to be something that either builds trust, rapport, and credibility before somebody talks to you or destroys all that and then causes them not to want to talk to you. Before someone responds to you, they're going to probably Google you. They may look you up on any number of social media platforms. So you need to ask, what conclusion, when you go to your profiles right now, and if you were somebody investigating you, what conclusion would a stranger reach about me in 30 seconds? Does your profile communicate who you help, what you know, what you believe, what makes you different, why someone should talk to you? If so, great. If not, probably needs a little bit of work. Your online presence should create pre-conversation credibility, the trust, rapport, and credibility. If you can get that done online or through the stuff that you have for brand awareness, then what you will see is that you don't have to spend so much time at the beginning of the meetings doing the trust, rapport, credibility. You can get right down into the meat of the subject, which is helping them either solve problems or get to goals that they have. You don't want to turn your social media into a billboard. It's not an advertising billboard. So, when you look at your social media profiles, what's going to happen is if every post, if everything you do sounds like an ad, sounds like a pitch, sounds like, everything that a lot of people do, what starts to happen is it all gets merged into one sea of nothingness. And basically, no one cares about what you're posting. No one's reading it. Everything gets ignored. Value attracts attention. Relevance creates connection. So when you're online, what you want to try to do, along with building your brand awareness and doing a lot of the things that we talk about is provide value. And that value should spark the curiosity. And that curiosity can help do a lot of things. Next action steps, whether it be getting on a calendar, whether it be opting in for a guide, whatever it might be. You want to stop being ignored and you want to start getting engaged with people. Remember, the difference between having a contact and having a calendar appointment is the communication. What is the communication really doing? It's bridging from the calendar to the contact in a way that gets somebody to do one thing, engaging. If they're engaging in your communication, that's a great leading indicator. That person wants to talk to you and they're ready to take that second step, which is the commitment of time on the calendar. Teach, guys. Teach what you know. One of your best and easiest positioning strategies is become an educator. That's why when I tell you guys when you come in, you're not a life insurance agent, you're not a salesperson, you're an educator, you're a consultant, whatever you want to look at yourself. But Education first is what we preach. So don't constantly tell people I'm an expert. Demonstrate expertise, educate, share, empower, make impact. Financial education creates freedom, confidence, and choices for people. If you're someone that constantly gets online and does some of this stuff and provides value and gets people actually interested, what's going to happen? Well, the first C will start to fill up. So when you're out there teaching people, what are you teaching? Why banks make more money, how interest works, why taxes matter, what living benefits are, how retirement income actually works, why business owners examine employee benefit costs, how debt actually affects wealth, how compound growth works, how agents build businesses. You could take that lineup right there and you could create 6 months worth of content on all that stuff and just put it out periodically. So instead of doing, hey, I help with retirement planning. Hey, how does a retirement income actually work? And by providing value, education, and information, what you're going to find is that is a greater lead generation system if you do it consistently over X period of time than reaching out and having just your calendar out there or saying what you do or asking people to do this, that, or the other. You haven't provided them with anything on the front side, which is extremely important. So provide the value, become the expert, not by telling people, but by showing people and then getting them to engage in what you're doing. All right, have a point of view, guys. Now I'm not talking about politics and religion. You want to stay away from that, but I'm talking about have something that you stand for. You're positioning these beliefs. Beliefs create clarity. Clarity attracts the right people. So if you're constantly in the same persona all day long, it becomes a lot easier than you having to go out and deal with 4 or 5 or 6 different types of people. So the right persona, the right message is that persona. Getting that persona to raise their hand is exactly what you're looking for. Relationships create results. So a point of view gives people something to remember. It gets attention, creates curiosity, starts the conversation in a way that positions yourself accordingly, builds loyalty, and it drives opportunity. You don't build an agency by recruiting people, you do it by developing people. So when you have all this in your repertoire and you learn how to position yourself and you learn how to communicate, what you're going to attract is better clients and you're going to attract more talented partners on the partner side. Stories beat information. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. So most people earn money, deposit into banks, borrow it back, and pay someone else the interest. This is the situation that most people are in. The problem is they spend decades paying for and access money they've already earned. So this is the cost of staying where you are. What is the alternate version? It's a better future. What if part of your financial system allowed you to maintain greater control and access? This is the outcome people want, and then you give them the clear path to get here. That's one of the strategies we educate people about. This is the conversation we invite them into. So you can see how there's a structure to this, there's a framework, there's a positioning to this, where if you get good at this, the lead generation will start to crank up in a meaningful way on both sides of the fence. Not just information, a story that actually moves people. Now you have a conversation. People are going to listen to and retain information way more in stories than just if you're just spoon feeding them. Stories create emotion, emotion creates connection, connection creates trust, and trust creates the opportunity to move the needle forward with what you're trying to accomplish on your side, which is client and partner growth. Curiosity is more powerful than information. If you just learn how to be curious and ask questions, people love talking. People love giving answers. People love talking about themselves. If you can just learn how to ask questions. When somebody asks, what do you do? Don't explain everything. Create curiosity. Curiosity is going to keep them wanting more. So instead of explaining everything, the features, the products, the compensation, the system, the history, everything, informational overload, interest goes plummeting down, and your ability to follow up with that person or get them to commit to another appointment, meeting, call, whatever it is basically almost zero. So I help people explore strategies that can help them keep more of what they earn, build wealth more efficiently, and create more financial control and freedom. Curiosity, the right people might raise their hand, want more information about, well, how exactly do you do that? Remember, curiosity, question, conversation, calendar. How does that work? You position well. Can you explain more about that? You position well. That sounds interesting. You position well. If they ask, how does that work? Your positioning works. So you want them giving you the go ahead by asking questions. So, hey, How does that work? Can you explain more about that? Sounds interesting. These are all go questions that are going to lead to the next action steps. People don't buy from people they don't know, like, and trust. And if you don't get that, this business is going to be extremely hard, more of an uphill battle than you ever imagined. All right, offline positioning. So we talked about how to do it online. What about offline when you're meeting people? Well, great networkers focus outward, not inward. So they ask better questions. A lot of the same stuff. It's just not you're in an online presence, you're in a physical location, physical presence. So I always tell people networking is a lot easier than direct marketing because you just build interest in what you do by showing interest in other people. How do you do that? Ask questions. Hey, what do you do? How long have you been doing it? That's great. What do you like about it? Just all the things like you would kind of like on a blind date. Questions on both sides of the fence, client and partner, allow you to get answers back from them. Those answers are information. That information uncovers a problem or a goal where you can usher in a solution and action step. So don't ever pitch. Everyone who walks within 5 feet does not need to know who you are, what you do, or about you. It's about making sure that you're attracting the right type of people into your ecosystem, whether that's online or offline, and then working with those people to build relationships. And as those relationships build, shouldn't be transactional. It should be in a way that allows you to help not only them, but the people they know, people they care about. And how do we do that? By placing ourselves when value is being recognized at that moment. Who else do you know and care about that needs access to this information? So different audience, different messages. So consumers, business owners, insurance agents, referral partners, they're all different people. If we have just a canned response or a canned message to all of them, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So remember who you're talking to, test out stuff. It either works or it doesn't work. If it works, go with it until it gets stale. If it doesn't work, change a few of the words. Don't throw it all against the wall at one time. It's the same ecosystem. It's a different doorway. So one mission, multiple audiences, multiple doorways they can come in, integrated systems, connected growth. So, the people that you talk to and the personas that you develop, they require different messages if you want them to land in a way that sparks curiosity and gets them wanting more from you. Your brand is bigger than your logo. So think about it. You create a logo for yourself and your business and all that, but your brand is not your colors, your logo, your headshot, your website. These are brand assets. Your brand is the sum of what people experience, hear, and believe about you. So understand the difference and start to develop both your brand assets and then understanding that that is a part of the equation of your whole brand. So really, when you're looking at this, guys, what do people think when they hear your name? That's really a good question. When your name gets brought up, what do people think about? What do people talk about? Is it the right stuff that you want them talking and thinking about? If so, great. If not, you need to work a little bit on the sum of everything that creates your brand awareness. If you don't intentionally establish your position, the market establishes it for you. So own your positioning, control your narrative, and build your brand. It's not going to happen over days, weeks. It's going to take some months to do, but the consistency of doing it day by day by day will help you do this, which is called build your signature language. This is especially important for us as agents. Don't copy everyone else's terminology. You're going to be blending in with everybody else. You're going to be soon forgotten. People don't do business with people they forget about. Develop memorable language around the concepts that you teach. That way you can be standing out from the crowd and you can be actually remembered. So the 4 C's: be your own bank, convert debt to wealth, remove Uncle Sam, the pillars, beat the banks. Concepts become easier to remember when they have names. So remember that. Just like when you're learning in school, if you associate different ways of learning, like if you ever listen to a music song you haven't heard in a decade, still know all the words. That's because it clicked in your brain. If you can get other people to learn the same way, remember what you're doing with, associated names and associated concepts, that becomes associated with the idea. Repeat it, live it, be known as the source for that type of information. All right, so let's talk about AI, because AI is going to provide you with a lot of opportunity, but if you don't get all of this embedded right now into a system and a framework that you understand and can teach other people, all AI is going to do is take the same generic output that you already have and multiply it over a lot of different levels and a lot of different generations. So AI makes content easier. That's powerful, but there's a danger in that. If everyone gives AI similar instruction, everyone starts sounding uh, the same. We all sound like robots, right? So when you look at this, everyone can now generate posts, email scripts, articles, images, videos. This is stuff where you had to do it all on your own just a few years ago. The result, a lot of people sound exactly the same. No one stands out, no one's remembered. Use AI to amplify yourself, your brand, your positioning. First create that and then use AI to amplify it. Don't outsource your identity to AI. You become, be irreplaceable. So develop who you are, your brand, your position, all the things that we're asking you to do, and then have AI just amplify it for you. All right, so let's get down to the end of this training for today. This is the positioning audit. So I want you guys to ask yourself, can I immediately tell who this person is or who this person helps? Do I understand what they stand for? Does anything make them memorable? Is there useful content? Does their profile create credibility? Would I want to have a conversation with this person? So look at your profile, start to ask yourself those things. Your profile is your digital first impression. Make it clear, make it relevant, make it memorable. LinkedIn is not a resume for you guys. LinkedIn is a marketing profile, a brand awareness profile. So when you're looking at things, you're no longer an employee state of mind. You are a business owner state of mind. You need to kind of react and do the necessary things that you need to do to create that type of presence online. Then answer, what do I need to change about those things? It's not something you have to do over one Sunday. It can be something that you do a little bit over maybe 6, 8, 9 weeks and get it all accomplished. Make sure that's working. If so, great, run with it. If not, make the necessary changes to get it to where you want it to be. All right, you guys, the what you do exercise. So practice this, and you can practice with Upline, you can practice with AI. There's a lot of ways to practice this, but make your introduction create curiosity, not confusion. Don't begin with, you know, who you are, what you sell, who you work for, or what you offer. That's just blah, blah, blah that everybody else in the industry does. The goal is to create enough curiosity that someone natural asks, tell me more. That's a good leading indicator that you've done your job of positioning, creating the curiosity to lead them to the next action steps. So when you look at this, refine your answer. You want to be short, to the point, sharpen with your answer, practice it again and again, and don't give unnecessary information when somebody asks you a question. Somebody asks you a question, answer it clear, concisely, move into the next action step. The more that you surround that answer to the question with unrelated information, the more questions they're going to come up that they probably didn't even have in the first place. The further you're going to get away from the core of the subject matter, which is to create the curiosity to book the meeting. Remember, you don't have to say everything. You need to spark something. Your 30-second answer should be create curiosity, be easy to remember, make them want more, and ultimately be different from everybody else out there. Master your intro. That's your verbal business card. It opens doors. It starts conversations. It can change your life, change your client's life, and change your partner's life. Remember, it's not just about making money. It's about influencing the people that you come across and changing their lives for the better. So when you position yourself, it isn't a script, it's a system. So you have a clear audience, a clear problem, a distinct point of view, memorable message, authentic delivery. That's going to create the curiosity, conversation, calendar appointments. So you can see how a lot of what we're talking about today is feeding into the 4 C's and helping you guys load up more and more and more contacts. The goal is move people from awareness to action. You're not just sharing information, you're leading people to a better future and outcome. Great positioning does all of this for you, and it leads right back to the 4 C's. You master that equation, you live by the 4 C's equation, build the business, change lives, and understand whatever is deficient in the 4 C's, just look at what comes right before that. That's the answer. That's the break or the chink in the links for the chain. And you just fix that, and everything will be free flowing for you. And I'll end on this note, guys. Don't just be another agent. You don't want to be in this industry to be lumped in with everybody else because that is a hard road. It's a tough hill to climb. You don't need to become somebody else. What you do need is to become better at communicating why someone should remember you. So online and offline, it's the same thing, a little bit different of an approach. When somebody asks what you do, don't waste that opportunity. Give them a reason to ask another question. And because in a marketplace full of competing people for attention, Different gets noticed, clear gets understood, relevant gets remembered, and trust gets the appointment. So you don't need to be like everybody else. You definitely want to be yourself, but you need to create brand awareness, elevator pitches, and communication that adheres to what we've been teaching.